What's good, YouTube? Swiftly here, back with another video. Today's video, again, we are going to be ranking 500 plus video game franchises. As you can see, this is what we have so far on our rankings list. Last video, we really spent most of the video just talking about video game franchises that we never played, which was quite a bit. As you can see, we filled this list quite a bit with a lot of video game franchises I've never played, and for some of these I've never even heard of, to be honest with you. Just to do a review, I've heard of Bloons Tower Defense, I've heard of Space Marine, never heard of Rival Schools, I've heard of The Forest, Sons of Forest, Digimon, obviously. I'm thinking this says Truck Simulator, which I've heard of but never played. Not really sure what this X or this magnifying glass icon is supposed to be for these video games, as I ask you guys in the comments to definitely know, tell me what these two games are. But a lot of these I had never heard of, like Cities in Motion, never heard of. I've heard of Cities XL, I've heard of like Roller Coaster Tycoon, Zoo Tycoon, haven't heard of like Horizon Chase or Automobilista or Captain Tsubasa. I've heard of like Pegu and Naruto, of course. Never heard of like Police Quest SWAT, Dungeon Defenders, Kingsfield. I've heard of like Dot Hack, like, as well as the animes. Never heard of Tabs or, Squad, whatever this is, or Show Millhouse. A lot of these games I've never even heard of, didn't even know they exist, and then a lot of them I've definitely heard in passing. But yeah, in today's episode, we're going to tackle some more video game franchises. We'll do a couple that I haven't played, we'll do a couple that I have played, we'll do a couple that that are probably on my backlog, as well as some games that I absolutely love. So starting out, I think we'll go with a franchise that a lot of people love, and that's going to be with Sly Cooper. Now, obviously, it doesn't say Sly Cooper, but I know that logo anywhere, bruh. And I'm going to put Sly Cooper in, I would say above average. You could go good, but personally for me, I'm going to say above average, just because I did like the games, but I don't feel like the Sly Cooper games really, they didn't do anything special. Like, they were fun games. I enjoyed them. I don't hate Sly Cooper. I don't hate the Sly Cooper games at all. I had the Sly Cooper trilogy on PS3, because I don't think I played them on PS2. I played them on PS3 in the trilogy. But I would say that we haven't had a Sly Cooper game, and that's something that I see a lot of people talking about online sometimes, like in discussions of like games you want sequels to, games that they should bring back. Sly Cooper is definitely one I see people constantly talk about. Sly Cooper and Infamous are definitely ones that I see people talk about a lot. But for me, Sly Cooper was a game that to me was fun, but it didn't really push boundaries. It didn't do anything special. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't groundbreaking or anything like that. It was just nice, cool, fun platformer. It didn't do anything different. It didn't do anything like unique or crazy. It was just a cool, fun platformer. So for me, above average. I wouldn't say it was mid or trash or anything like that, but definitely I wouldn't put in very good or masterpiece. I know some people are probably gonna kill me for that, because Sly Cooper is their favorite game, but that's just where it's at for me. Halo. Let's go Halo. Halo, another favorite. I would go good for Halo. And I know some people aren't going to like that, but for me, Halo, well, for starters, again, you have to remember that I only owned an Xbox 360, so for me, I've personally only played online. I've only played Halo 3, and I want to say Halo ODST. The only other Halos I've played was Halo 1 and Halo 2. But I played Halo 1 and 2 at my cousin-in-law Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, cousin-in-law. I played that at my cousin-in-law's house, right? And I remember, like being in school, and I would go to my cousin's house, right? And her husband, like, we would play. He had an Xbox. We would play like Halo because he was a gamer too. And I remember he was off one day, and he was like, "Yo, man, let's play some video games, dog. Like, let's play some games, right?" And I was supposed to go to school that day, but he actually let me stay home, and we literally just chilled all day long. We played through Halo 1, we played through Halo 2, and then we also grinded through Gears of One co-op story as well too. So we beat the campaigns for 2 Halo games and Gears of War, and that's really was like my introduction to Halo. Like, and I loved every second of it. And then obviously as I got older, I got 360. I ended up playing like Halo 3 and I want to say ODST as well too. But that really is like the absolute like experience with Halo. I've never played any other Halo games. Pretty sure there's a Halo 4. I'm pretty sure there's like a Halo Reach. Pretty sure there's a Halo 5 or a Halo Infinite as well too. Never played any of those games. So for me, I just throw it in the good category just based off my experience. I played, a couple of those games, but I don't think I've had enough experience, especially with the online, to really give like a super duper fair ranking, in my opinion. So I can't rate it too high. I also can't rate it, too low, in my opinion, as well too. Uh, Moving on, I guess we could tackle. I'm trying to think, what could we talk about next? I guess we could tackle. What could we tackle next? I guess we could tackle a franchise that I literally just was talking about, right? And that would be, Gears of War. And Gears of War, again, I would put in. Um, wait. That's Danganronpa. What the hell? Where did Gears of War go? Uh oh. I think I might have lost Gears of War somewhere. Uh, where in the world is it? Okay, there we go. Gears of War, right there. Boom. So Gears of War, I will put in good as well for the same reason, except I've only played the first Gears of War game. I haven't played any of the other Gears of War games. Haven't played Gears of War 3. Haven't played Gears of War 2. Only played the first one. Only played the campaign. Never played online. I've seen people play Gears of War. I know about, like the roadie run and, people spamming shotguns and chainsaws and, the melee and all of that stuff like that. Like, I know a bit of the lore and the, to some extent, the praise and the complaints of Gears of War. But I would say I don't have the hands-on experience with it to give it like a super fair rating. So again, for me, what the little bit that I have played, which was just the first game, I will put it in a good category. Now, if I experience more from Gears of War, I probably could like rate it a little bit more, either higher or lower, depending on how I feel about the franchise. But I'm cool with putting it in a good category. Let me know what you guys think about Gears of War down below. But I'm perfectly cool with putting it in the good category. Medal of Honor. Medal of Honor. I'm going mid, bro. I'm going mid, and I know a lot of people gonna hate me for going mid with Medal of Honor, but just my experience with Medal of Honor, like I hate to do this. I really hate to do this. But for me, Medal of Honor is just like, it's not Call of Duty, it's not Battlefield. You know what I'm saying? Like, Medal of Honor is one of those games where I felt like every other game advanced. Like, if you go back, right? And I feel this way about SOCOM too. And I know people are going to kill me because they love those games, right? But for me, if you go back and you look at how Medal of Honor used to play, or you go back and look at old Call of Duty, I'm talking about Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty Classic, Call of Duty, Big Red 1 and all of that stuff like that, right? And you look at how ancient those games were and they look, their UI, there's no sprint or anything like that, right? And then you look at not even modern Call of Duty, but Call of Duty where I talked about in the golden era. You look at COD 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. You see the advancement in the games. And then you go and look at the older Battlefields, and then you go to Battlefield 3, Battlefield, Bad Company, Battlefield Hardline. You see like the advancements. It feels like Medal of Honor never made those advancements. It feels like SOCOM never made those advancements. I can't really say that. I can't really say that about Ghost Recon because Ghost Recon, eventually make those advancements. Like games like Warhawk, Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 1 and 2, GRAW as they call them. Like those games, in war, they eventually made those advancements. So for me, that's why I'm putting Medal of Honor in mid. Like I just never really seen those advancements. Maybe I wasn't playing the right games, but for me, it seemed like they never really just caught up to everybody else, or maybe they just just weren't making enough of the games to like really make games like as often as COD. Like I'll put it like this: no other game was coming out every single year like COD. Even Battlefield, for as popular as Battlefield was, Battlefield wasn't coming out every single year. But anyway, I digress. Moving on, I guess we could briefly touch on the show. And for me, I would just put the show as above average. I really don't have a lot of experience with MLB The Show. Not really much of a baseball guy. Not really a fan of baseball. But as far as video games go, I don't mind baseball video games. I've played MLB The Show 25. I've played the MLB Show 24. And I've played MLB The Show 23. Outside of that, I've never played the same. I think I played MLB The Show 21 too. But outside of that, I've never played in a single MLB Show game. So I've played like maybe 3 of the games, 25, 24, and 21. And I think 23. I didn't play 22 or any other games outside of that. So for me, I just don't have enough experience. I know that it's highly rated. If you look at all of the major sports games, FIFA, NHL, Madden, NBA 2K, all of those games, MLB The Show is the only one that's consistently rated high. Every time I talk to like fans of the game, they always praise it. They do have some complaints here and there, but for the most part, they love MLB The Show. Whether it's Road to the Show, whether it's like the Ultimate Team, like the Road, whatever it's called. I don't even know what the Ultimate Team thing is called, but they there's microtransactions where you could buy like stubs or tickets or whatever it's called. But for the most part, everything can be earned and grinded out in the game and they feel like the grinding is fair. It's not like 2K where you got to spend 3 weeks to get one card or something like that, or you got to spend $500 to like try to get a chance at one of the cards that you want. Like every person I talk to, for the most part, feel like MLB Show is fair. So I'm putting it in above average. I personally haven't played it enough for me to really rate it highly, but I'm putting it above average. I'm not putting it mid or below average or anything, just off the strength of what I've heard other players say about the game. Personally, I think it's a decent game, right? Like, but at the same time, I've only really played, the only other baseball game I've really played besides MLB The Show was MLB Slugfest, and that was like NFL Blitz. It was like baseball on crack, where you could throw like crazy heaters. You could like hit people, like punch people with the ball when you tag them out. Like, you could throw these crazy wacky ass like spiral pitches that like look like Hadoukens and whatnot. Like, so I don't really have much experience with baseball games for me to like really, go deep and, give you a deep analysis on it. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I'm kind of just like, Dragon Ball Z. Yes, let's talk Dragon Ball Z because we have a couple games here. So we have Sparkling Water. I call it Dragon Ball Z Sparkling Water, but I think it's called Sparkling Zero or something like that. I've personally never played Dragon Ball Z Sparkling, so that's gonna go in the never played list for me. Never played it. Don't know anything about it. Um, Dragon Ball Z Legend of Goku. I've played. Not really a fan of it. I'm throwing that in mid. Legacy of Goku, Legend of Goku, whatever it's called. I'm throwing that in mid. I'm sorry. I know people aren't going to like that. Wasn't really a fan of that. I know there's another Dragon Ball game, Dragon Ball Z. I'm not really sure what Dragon Ball Z game this is. It doesn't look like Tenkaichi, but I just see Dragon Ball Z. That's it. I don't know what these what these letterings mean, so I'm gonna throw it in never played. And then I want to say that there's at least two more Dragon Ball Z franchises that I know I passed Budokai right here. Yeah, Budokai. But I feel like there was another Dragon Ball Z game that I'm missing. Like I'm trying to. Dragon Ball Origins. Okay. Dragon Ball Origins. Is there not another Dragon Ball game? I could have sworn that there was another Dragon Ball. But I haven't seen any, so I'm just going to assume that. I'm going to assume that these are the last two. I don't think I played Dragon Ball Origins either. So I'm going to put that in never played as well, too. And then finally, we have Dragon Ball Z Budokai. And for me, Dragon Ball Z Budokai, very good. This was like my introduction to Dragon Ball Z games, okay? Um, Obviously, I played some Dragon Ball Z games here and there. I remember there was like a browser game that you could play where you had these four corners. And you basically could like go to any corner and then you could attack, and then based on your attack, that's where your attack would go. So like let's say you were in the bottom left corner. If you go up to top left corner, you could throw like Kamehameha, and it would have hit like the top right, the bottom right, and like the bottom left corner. Or like you throw like just a regular like key blast, and it would either go top corner or bottom right corner. And then like if you go to a corner where somebody else was at, you would just like punch, kick, punch, or whatever, and then move to another corner. So like if I was top left corner and you were bottom right corner, if I moved bottom right corner, I would just punch, kick, and then I would go back to like top left, or they would move or whatever. But it was just a really gnarly, basic, fighter game. Like I can't even say it was a fighter game because it was more so like an RPG because you would take turns attacking and moving and whatnot. You could go to a corner where no character was at and just charge your key or whatever like that, or you could choose to attack, whatever. It's different things you could choose to do. But that was really my introduction to Dragon Ball games. And then obviously as I got a little bit older, I would started playing the Dragon Ball Z Budokai games, and I think a lot of us was raised on the Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Budokai 2 probably being my favorite or most played. Budokai and Budokai 2 were probably the games that I spent the absolute most time on, but Budokai 2 definitely the game that I spent like all of my time on. Budokai 3, then like Budokai Tenkaichi, or if I'm not, saying it right or butchering it too much, but Budokai Tenkaichi, and then those games as well too, classic games. So for me, very good. I wouldn't say masterpiece, but very, very good. Definitely childhood defining game for me, for sure. Again, this goes back to when I absolutely loved like fighting games as a kid, and I played the hell out of that. So, the other Dragon Ball Z games, not really too much. But those games, oh man. Moving on though, we have what should we go to? Let's go Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero, I'm going above average, bro. I'll go above average for Guitar Hero, and I'm trying to see if they have Rock Band here. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't see Rock Band anywhere in the list. So I find that kind of crazy. They got Guitar Hero, but they don't got Rock Band, because Rock Band was definitely like Guitar Hero's like main, you know, main competition. Okay, they do got Rock Band. Rock Band is right here. Okay, I was just blind. Cause I'm like, I find that kind of crazy. They got Guitar Hero and no Rock Band. Like, that's insane to me. So Guitar Hero, Rock Band, above average. Now I've played, Guitar Hero 2. I want to say I played up until Guitar Hero 3. Now I have fond memories because I remember we would walk from school, and there was a Best Buy, right? That wasn't too far from our school. We would always stop in like Best Buy, bro, right? Because like they used to have like the setup where you could play like demos when we were in school. Not sure if Best Buy still does that, because I haven't been in Best Buy in a hot ass minute, bro. Usually I just order online and then I just walk in and pick up. So I couldn't really tell you if Best Buy still has these demo sections. I don't think GameStop has the demo sections anymore, but Best Buy, GameStop, all of these places used to have the demo section where they would have like PS3, Xbox 360, and then like a Wii setup. And you could go in, play or whatever like that, mess around with the demos, play like, a quick match of like 2K or Madden or whatever game they had. I remember Stuntman was one of the games that they had that you could run demos on. But anyway, after school, we would walk, sometimes we would just go straight home. But sometimes we would walk down, be like, oh, let's go to Best Buy. And we would walk to Best Buy. And Guitar Hero is one of those games where we would always play, bro. Like, Guitar Hero and Rock Band demos, like, we would just play and play and play. And we would play the same damn songs over and over again. Like, we would go to Best Buy Monday. Then we might go to Best Buy again on Thursday. Then next week, we might go to Best Buy on a Tuesday. Then we might go to Best Buy again on a Thursday or a Friday. And every single time we would play Guitar Hero, amongst other demos, but we would play Guitar Hero and we would play the same damn songs every single time, bro. And it never got old. Like, Guitar Hero is one of those games that, like, it just never, ever got old, bro. And even as, like, a kid playing Guitar Hero, like, I don't know, it's just fun. Guitar Hero and Rock Band are probably like the only rhythm games that I've ever really played. I know that there's other rhythm-based games, but for me, Guitar Hero and Rock Band are probably like the top tier when it comes to like, or the most popular when it comes to rhythm games. I know that there's other games out there that a lot of people like to play, but for me, like when I think rhythm games, I think Guitar Hero, I think Rock Band, and I think like Dance Dance Revolution. Those are like the main games that come to mind as far as those type of games. But I don't really have anything bad to say about these games. I really don't. Another game that was similar to that was a game called Get on the Mic. I remember that game for like PS2 where you would have like a microphone and you would like rap it to the microphone. You had to like rap the rap songs and stuff. That was like another game. I think SingStar was another one that was similar to that as well too. Naruto Ninja Storm. Again, another Naruto game that I haven't played. I still haven't seen the franchise that I'm used to, which was again Shippuden. I haven't seen that at all for Naruto, which is kind of crazy to me that I haven't seen it. Maybe look, Naruto Clash of the Ninjas, again, another Naruto. Like they have like every franchise of Naruto or every Naruto game but the video game series that I played, which I kind of find kind of crazy. Maybe I just overlooked it. I haven't seen it yet, but like I'm going through everything and I'm just not seeing any other Naruto games, which to me is just insane. But moving on. Let's see, what game can we talk about next? Well, we talked about this game briefly, so I guess we might as well just do it. Infamous. Now, Infamous is a series Again, I would probably put in the good category. Infamous series that I've played, and it's one of the rare series where I actually could say that I've played every single game in the series. I played Infamous, I played Infamous 2, I've played Infamous Second Son, and Infamous First Light, like the spin-off slash add-on, whatever you want to call it, DLC, standalone game. I don't know what you want to call it, but I've played all four Infamous games. I have. And the reason why I'm only putting it in good is because if you go back and play like the first two games, as fun as they were, and I genuinely love the first game. The first game is probably my favorite game. It is janky as all hell, bro. Like when I say janky, I mean it is extremely janky if you played it. I don't know if anybody's played Infamous lately, but like the controls, like the running controls, like the weird delay, like you try to climb something or jump on something, and it's kind of like you just magnetized to like things. So like you might want to jump and climb on this, it'll just auto latch you onto like somewhere you weren't even trying to jump. The controls and stuff for Infamous has not aged well. Very very janky, very very glitchy. But outside of that, still very fun game. Very fun game. So the platforming is really janky to me. The combat, while being pretty simple, was still really fun. But I would say just the jankiness of like the first two games really kind of bring it down just a little bit for me. Like they just really haven't aged well. Infamous Second Son, not that great of a game. Not that great of a story either. I kind of wish they stayed with Cole, and his story, but it is what it is, Series got to move on, so it is what it is, But I would have really wished if they would have brought back Cole. But that's just me, my opinion. I was a fan of First Light. I thought First Light was decent, but overall, I think Infamous is a franchise that a lot of people really, really would love to see back. I want to say from Sucker Punch, if I'm not mistaken, but it's often brought up in those discussions where people are like, yo, what are some video game franchises you would love to see make a new game, or what are those video games that you wish you could bring back? I always, always, always see Infamous in those discussions. It never fails. There's always at least one person saying Infamous, and I agree with them, bro. Like, I would love to see. Now, Infamous is one of those games where genuinely, and I say this all the time on the channel, I'm tired of remasters, I'm tired of remakes, I'm tired of reboots, but Infamous 1 and 2 are honestly two games or a game series where I genuinely wouldn't be mad at a remaster or a remake or whatever of Infamous. I wouldn't be mad at that. If they remastered those games and like updated the controls and made the game less jank, I wouldn't be mad at that at all. Do I think the games still hold up? I think visually the games aren't too bad looking. Like, I could play Infamous 1 and 2 right now today in 2025 and not be like disgusted or angered or whatever. But for me, I think it's really so the controls that would really frustrate a lot of people playing today. Like I said, like it's very jank. They often make you jump onto stuff like you're like latched on trying to climb the side of a car or a bus when you're not even trying to jump on that. Like you're climbing random parts of the wall or building that you're not trying to jump onto. It could be a very frustrating game, like the platforming sections. But outside of that, again, fun series in my opinion. So I'm putting it in the good category. Moving on. Another series I like, Watch Dogs. Now, Watch Dogs, is actually going to go in above average. Now, the reason why I'm not putting Watch Dogs in good or very good, oh man, probably going to get murdered for this one too, bro. But Watch Dogs for me, fun series, right? I like, a lot of people try to say anything that's open world crime is a GTA clone. I don't really agree with that sentiment. But if you're going to call it a GTA clone, it is one of the most creative, right, GTA clones where the entire, aspect of the game is like hacking and whatnot, it kind of goes against what being a GTA clone is. Now, obviously, you can use weapons and guns and just gun people down and just go and blasting every single time. But, you know, you kind of put yourself at a disadvantage doing that because you're usually fighting large groups of enemies, enemies that have really good weapons, really good, like, you know, armor and stuff like that. So if you do that, you're kind of putting yourself at a disadvantage going in just guns blazing. I'm gonna kill everybody or shoot everybody. Like, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage running in blasting like that. You're more so at the advantage playing like real stealthily and using your gadgets and gizmos and stuff to your advantage, right? And to me, that kind of goes against what a GTA slash GTA clone does. You know, you think Mafia, you really just going in guns blazing, a lot of gunfire, guns blasting. GTA, same thing. There's some stealth sections, but you're going in guns blazing, gunfire, and all of that stuff like that. All of the major clones, Saints Row, Scarface, Godfather, you're just going in, guns blazing, shooting everybody up. Whereas Watch Dogs kind of lends itself to using the hacking aspect of the game, which is obviously one of the key mechanics of the game. So for me, that right there just automatically separates it. As far as the game goes, I love Watch Dogs 1. People kind of big it up, and then people kind of also shit on Watch Dogs 1. They say it's like really cringe and edgy, which I get, but you gotta think for the time that it came out, when you looked at like hackers and anything like that involving hackers and shit like that, it was always like cringy, like, yo, I'm a dark hat hacker, like, you know, I'm gonna hack you, I'm behind 7,000 proxies and all of that weird shit. Like, it's always been looked at as like weirdo, cringe, you know, I'm hacking into the Citadel, like, you know, type of shit. So I get why the story is kind of like that. I personally like it just because it's more of a grounded, somewhat more realistic story compared to the later games in the series, if you will. I kind of look at it like how Saints Row series was, where like Saints Row 1, Saints Row 2 was a little bit darker, more grounded, more realistic, and then as they went on, it kind of got a little bit more wacky and crazy, a little bit more wacky and crazy. So, Watch Dogs 1, loved. Watch Dogs 2, from a gameplay aspect, I loved it. I loved the mechanics of Watch Dogs 2. I think the gameplay was amazing for Watch Dogs 2. But for me, the story and the characters were just absolutely abysmal. They tried to go like, you know, I guess more likable, more lighthearted, like, and it just was, to me, cringe for different reasons. Like, Watch Dogs 1 is cringe for a lot of people for one reason. For me, Watch Dogs 2 was cringe for completely different reasons. So, wasn't like I'm kind of 50-50 split on Watch Dogs 2. And then Watch Dogs Legion is hands down one of the worst games I've ever played. Like, I give Watch Dogs Legion like a 2 out of 10, maybe a 3 out of 10, maybe, you know, but Watch Dogs Legion is awful, and Watch Dogs Legion is probably why I'm putting this in above average. If Watch Dogs Legion didn't exist and it was just Watch Dogs 1 and 2, I will probably put this in a good category, but Watch Dogs Legion is bad enough to where I'm actually bringing the series down a ranking because it's just, that game is just abysmal. Like, I genuinely, I don't know how that game got made or why that game got made, but yeah, man, like, Watch Dogs Legion is just, man. Like, I would be telling my kids about how bad that game was. That's how bad Watch Dogs Legion was. But moving on to our next series, I guess we could go, let's go Batman, right? Batman, and I'm not sure, right? Like, I'm not putting Batman in not good. I don't want anybody to freak out. I'm not really sure what Batman this is, right? Is this Batman like the Arkham series, or is this just Batman as a video game franchise as a whole? You know, because there's Batman Forever, there's like Batman Rise of Sin Tzu, there's like, you know, Batman the Arkham series, which is the more popular games. There's Batman Begins, the video game. Like, there's so many different Batman games that, like, I don't really know what this is like signifying, but maybe this is the Arkham series logo, and I'm just not recognizing it, right? So I don't know. There's Batman Origins, like there's just so many different Batman games, if we're just going just Batman in general, all of the games, there are a lot of shitty and bad Batman games. Don't get it twisted. So I would probably put it in above average, right? But if we're just going just the Arkham series, I probably would put this in the good category. But I'm not really sure what we're doing. So I'll just do both. I'll say if we're talking about every Batman game ever made, I'm going above average. If we're talking about just the Arkham series, I'm going in good. The only reason why I'm not going in very good, I understand what the free flow combat did for combat in games like this, but and I really enjoyed Arkham Asylum. For me, my favorite game is definitely Arkham Asylum, and then Arkham Origins. I wasn't really a fan of the open world aspect of Arkham City and even Arkham Knight. I think Batman excels the most when it's kind of like I could dig the hub experience of Arkham Asylum. You know, like you have like this one giant like hub, and each section of the game is connected through this hub. I could get with that. But like the giant open world city aspect, like I just wasn't a fan of that. Like that's just me. I know other people probably feel differently. They like, flying around the city, grapple hooking around the city or driving around the city in the Batmobile. Like they probably enjoyed that aspect of the game. But for me, like coming from, Arkham Asylum and then immediately jumping into City and Night, like, and then Origins, it was just very underwhelming for me. I just wasn't a fan of it. I just did not like that. I thought Batman was, well, I think Batman, at least for the games, like even when I look at like the older games like Begins and like Rise of Sinzu, two of my favorite games, there was no like open world aspect. There was no like, gimmicky, like, well, I mean, there was some like kind of like gimmick gameplay mechanics, like the Scarecrow thing would make you like, it would reverse your controls. So like forward was back was forward, like, things of that nature. But outside of that, there was no like gimmicky like mechanics or vehicle things. And I'm just not a fan of it, bro. I'm just not a fan of it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just not a fan of it. I didn't, it's crazy. I did not mind the tank fights at first in Arkham Knight. But then it just kind of got old. It kind of got old, and it kind of got like lame really, really fast. Like when you first play Arkham Knight, and it's like, oh shit, tank battles or whatever, and you're dodging and you're shooting tanks and you're blowing tanks up and shit like that. It was kind of fun at first, but then it's like it feels like at every corner it's like, oh, now it's a tank battle. Oh, now it's a tank battle. Oh shit, another tank battle. It kind of gets old really fast for me, bro. Like. But I would put it in good. I do understand what the free flow combat did. I enjoyed the free flow combat. And the one thing that I could genuinely say, like I've played a lot of superhero / comic book hero video games. And I could say that out of all of the games, there's only 2 games where I genuinely played and I felt like the character that I was playing. And that is Batman, and that is Spider-Man. Hopefully, they are coming out with the Wolverine game, which I don't think is coming out until like 2027 or something like that. So I hope that game makes me feel like I'm really Wolverine. But I could genuinely say those are the only 2 games that I really felt like. Even when I played like the Hulk games, I didn't really feel like the Hulk. Like, it didn't feel like I was like Hulk. And I think you have to have like a massive scale type of game if you want to really feel like the Hulk. Because I want to feel that experience of like doing those running leaps that I see Hulk do in the movies, in the old Hulk, movies. In my opinion, like that is part of it. But I could genuinely say playing Batman, it felt like I was playing Batman. When I played the Spider-Man games, it felt like I was playing like Spider-Man. You know what I mean? But moving on, let's see, what do we have next? Let's see. What can we? Okay, Fire Emblem. We could go Fire Emblem. Never played Fire Emblem, and I'm actually lying. I think I've played Fire Emblem Awakening or something like that. What it's called, but I don't think I've played enough Fire Emblem for me to really fairly rate this. So I'm definitely gonna throw Fire Emblem in the never played. I'm gonna throw Perfect Dark definitely in the never played. I've heard of Perfect Dark, but never played it. Same thing with Unreal Tournament. I've heard of Unreal Tournament. I've never played it. Same thing with Quake. I know I'm gonna get murdered in the comments because these are absolute classics. Unreal Tournament and Quake. As far as like boomer shooters, I know I'm gonna get murdered in the comments. But I've never played any of these, bro. But I feel like these games are more so like PC games. Like these are more like PC games. Like same thing with Counter-Strike. I'm not gonna put. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put Counter-Strike and never play. I've played Counter-Strike. I've played Counter-Strike Global Offense. I've played CS:GO, but I've never played like OG Counter-Strike or like 1.6 or anything like that. So I'm gonna put Counter-Strike and never played. I've played a handful of games, but again, I mostly played console growing up. I didn't really play PC until I got like older, and then even when I did, I didn't really play Counter-Strike. That was never really a game that like, oh man, Counter-Strike is not really a game that like really appeased me. It wasn't a game that immediately attracted to me. So I'm gonna put it in never played, but I have played Counter-Strike, but I personally feel like I haven't played enough of Counter-Strike. I probably got like less than 50 hours in Counter-Strike. So I wouldn't even really say, oh, I played Counter-Strike. Like, because I know there's people with like, a lifetime. They done played like 90 years worth of Counter-Strike already. That's how much they played Counter-Strike. So I'm not going to, unjustly say that I've played it because I don't think that would be fair. Chivalry is another game that I've heard of, but I've personally never played. So I'm going to put Chivalry there. Five Nights at Freddy's. I haven't played, but I did recently just download a Five Nights at Freddy's game, whichever one is on PS5. I'm not really sure which one, or if it was like a reboot or something, or they just ported it to PS5 or whatever, like a PS4 version of it. But I do definitely have a Five Nights at Freddy's game downloaded currently on my SSD that I'm going to play eventually. But as of this video, I've never played the Five Nights at Freddy's game, so I'm going to just leave it on there. But I will eventually play a Five Nights at Freddy's game though, so that won't be on never played for very long. Valkyrie Chronicles, I've definitely played this, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna put it in never played because I genuinely don't remember a thing from playing this. Like Valkyrie Chronicles, I don't remember a single thing about playing this. I played like some of the Sword Art Online games, don't remember a single thing about playing those if those games were here. But yeah, bro. Same thing with Spelunky. I've played it, but I'm putting it in never played just because I couldn't really tell you a single thing about it. Splatoon. I had Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2. I never even played. I played the first one. I never even played Splatoon 2. Funny story about Splatoon 2. I ordered a Nintendo Switch during the lockdowns in 2020. And I ordered a Switch and I ordered Splatoon and Splatoon 2, and they accidentally sent me 2 copies of Splatoon 2. So I opened one copy and never got around to even playing it, and then the second copy just stayed sealed. And then I ended up selling my Switch, and I ended up selling both copies of Splatoon, and I never even opened up either one of them. So yeah, fun story about Splatoon 2. Had 2 free copies, well, 1 free copy of it, and a copy that I bought, and never played a single one of them, bro. Like, I did play the ripoff Splatoon, which was Foam Stars, but yeah, that wasn't that great of a game. But yeah, Splatoon I would throw and never played. I did play some of the first one, never even touched the second one. Like, opened it up, looked at the disc thing or whatever, the little card thing or whatever. Closed it and never touched it again. Epic Battle Fantasy. We could do Epic Battle Fantasy. I've never played this. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I never even heard of Epic Battle Fantasy. I don't even know what that is. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Never even heard of that. Epic Battle Fantasy. I definitely got to look whatever that is up. Uh, Destiny. Again, I've played Destiny, some of Destiny 2, but I don't think I've played enough of Destiny for me to really fairly say that I've played it. I probably have like less than like 10 hours in Destiny 2. A friend of mine's recently got into. I think they dropped like the DLC for it like last year or something like that. And because of that, my friend got back on it and he was playing it, and I was like, you know what? Him and another friend of mine was playing it, so I was like, you know what? I'll jump. What the hell? I'll jump on it and play. And I jumped on it and was playing it, and yo, I just wasn't a fan of it. It just didn't appeal to me. I just didn't like it, so I just straight up just stopped playing it, bro. Like that's just what it is. Angry Birds, another series I've never played. I'm gonna be completely honest. Never played Angry Birds. I have no idea what this series is, but I'm probably gonna put that in a never played list. Somebody definitely let me know what this logo is. I'm not gonna lie, that logo is kind of fire. That's like a moon with like some type of ninja star or something in the middle. I don't know, but that logo is actually kind of fire. But never played that. Never played Rhythm Heaven. I'm gonna throw that in the never played pile as well too. Rivals of Ether, never played that. Can definitely throw that in the never played. And then I can also throw that other game that I just seen. Where did it go though? It was just here a second ago. Well, I guess we could throw Fighting Vipers instead in there because I haven't played Fighting Vipers at all. But there was one more game that I just seen that I wanted to throw in that pile for games that I've never played. Where did it go? I think it went over here somewhere on this right side, if I'm not mistaken. It was on this left side. Come on. Okay. All right, there we go. Age of History. That's what I was looking for. Definitely haven't played Age of History. Definitely never even heard of Age of History. But that's definitely going to do it for this episode of Ranking 500 Plus Franchises. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe for more content. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.